They were already waiting outside when I pulled up, their luggage perfectly lined, smiles perfectly false. My mother waved as if nothing was wrong. My father adjusted his hat, that same old leather one he wore to every family event, every lie I'd spent 6 months planning this trip. A week through Europe, Paris, Rome, Prague. Every detail handled, the hotels, the restaurants, the private tours. A once-in-a-lifetime gift. My gift. When I stepped out of the car, my mother said it like she was commenting on the weather. "Oh, sweetheart," she smiled, "your sister will be joining us instead of you. She really needed a break." Just like that, my sister, jobless, aimless, the family's fragile glass ornament I was always told to protect. I stood there, holding their tickets, the early morning chill biting my hands. I didn't say anything, I just nodded. And in that silence, something inside me locked into place, cold, quiet, absolute. It hadn't always been this way. When I was younger, I used to believe my parents loved me the same. That effort meant something. I'd bring home perfect grades, scholarships, promotions. My sister brought home excuses and tears. She was always tired, overwhelmed, trying her best. They called her sensitive. They called me strong. But what they really meant was she needed saving, and I could save her. So I did. I paid her rent, covered her debts, wrote job recommendations she never used. And when she betrayed me last year, stole money from my account, forged my signature on a loan, I forgave her. Because my parents asked me to. "She's going through a hard time," my mother said. "Be the bigger person," my father added. I was always the bigger person, until that morning. The drive to the airport was quiet. My mother hummed some tune from her youth, the one she'd sing while making pancakes when I was little. Nostalgia used to warm me. That day, it curdled. They chatted about how kind I was for arranging the trip, how excited they were to finally see Europe. I nodded at the right times, smiled when expected. Inside, I was taking notes. Every word they said was a nail in a coffin I was already building. They didn't notice when I switched their passports at the airport. Didn't notice when I handed them the wrong tickets, ones I had printed weeks before, with their names correctly spelled, but linked to a different itinerary. They boarded their flight to Paris. My sister, all sunshine and smugness, waved from the gate. "Don't worry," she said, "we'll take lots of pictures for you." I smiled. "Please do." Their real flight was going to a different destination entirely, one I'd chosen carefully. The thing about planning revenge is you can't rush it. You can't let it taste like rage. It has to taste like justice. Clean, precise. Months before the trip, when I was finalizing the travel packages, I'd created 2 versions of everything, one real, one counterfeit. The real itinerary was for me. The counterfeit was for them. The counterfeit hotels looked real enough. Same names, different cities. Budget versions, far from the landmarks they thought they'd see. Their prepaid cards, limited. Their luggage tags, redirected. Their driver in Paris never existed. Everything was legitimate on paper, just not their paper. When they landed, they realized the first thing was wrong, the language. They weren't in France, they were in Poland. The second thing that went wrong was the hotel. The receptionist had no record of them. Their confirmation numbers meant nothing. Their calls to me went unanswered. My mother left 10 voicemails in the first hour. By the time the 5th one came through, her voice had lost its sweetness. "Where are you?" she demanded. "This isn't funny." It wasn't supposed to be. While they were wandering Warsaw, trying to contact embassies and banks, I was in Rome, checking into the suite that was supposed to be theirs. The view overlooked the Spanish Steps. The bed was silk-sheeted. The air smelled of oranges and old stone. I took my first sip of wine just as their final message came through. My sister, "You're sick. You planned this, didn't you?" I didn't reply. Instead, I transferred the last of my parents' trust fund, my name had always been on it as co-beneficiary, to a new account, one they could no longer access. Call it compensation for years of favoritism. Call it justice. 2 days later, my mother sent a picture. Them sitting in some budget hostel, eating plain bread for breakfast. Her expression was empty. My father's pride had collapsed into silence. My sister wasn't smiling anymore. They'd tried to rebook a flight to Paris, but their cards were frozen. Their emergency contact, me, had reported the cards stolen, which, technically, wasn't a lie. By the 5th day, they finally reached a friend in London who wired them money to get home. They returned quiet, ashamed. When they showed up at my apartment, my mother looked smaller. My father